People have been tossing around speculation for years, including old whispers that Meghan might have once been seen on Epstein's yacht. Those rumors came packaged with throwback photos of her standing near Prince Andrew when she was in her early 20s. Whether real or misidentified, that material has resurfaced like clockwork. And honestly, if there's anyone quietly pleased about Meghan taking the spotlight off his own scandals, it's probably Prince Andrew. I can practically imagine him nudging the royal family like, "Look what she's done now. Unbelievable, isn't it?" And then things escalated. The narrative online shifted into high drama. Claims that Prince William had reached his breaking point, that he told friends he was ready to strip Meghan of the HRH style she's still accused of using, that he confronted Harry directly about her alleged connection to the Epstein circle. As soon as those headlines flipped across social media, the internet went wild. That supposed island footage leak had people convinced William didn't approach Harry for a brotherly chat. He cornered him, demanding answers. Once that hit the feeds, every old rumor about Meghan rose from the dead. The yacht girl allegations came flying back. The story about her being nicknamed Flower, a name some tried to link to Ghislaine Maxwell's circle, resurfaced. Even that ancient claim that Maxwell had received a resume from Meghan during her early acting days was suddenly being discussed again. The conversation online started shifting into a narrative that Meghan didn't just accidentally cross paths with influential people. She may have already been orbiting around Andrew's social world, long before Harry ever entered the picture. And once that angle gained traction, people started side-eyeing the famous "we met at Soho House by chance" love story. Suddenly, it didn't feel like a sweet meet-cute. It felt, to internet detectives, like the missing puzzle piece in a rumor they were determined to keep alive. Before even addressing the alleged confrontation between William and Harry, you have to look at the rumor that refuses to die: the claim that Meghan was a yacht girl. This theory has lived online for more than a decade. It began with those grainy photos people insisted showed Meghan aboard a yacht with Prince Andrew around 2010. The images circulated for years until the palace eventually stepped in and said the woman wasn't Meghan at all but Alexandra Scat, a Filipino-Spanish model. Do you think that clarification would have shut the whole thing down? Absolutely not. The reaction online was basically, sure, that's the version they're choosing to go with. Because to a lot of people, every questionable story about Meghan magically became a case of mistaken identity or a misunderstanding the moment she married into royalty. Pair that with the palace's long history of denying anything unflattering, and many simply didn't buy it. Then those old clips resurfaced, including one guy claiming he'd brought Meghan to a celebrity golf tournament back when she was still one of the briefcase models on Deal or No Deal, saying she acted as a caddy for the stars that day. That video poured gasoline on the fire. The comments under the resurfaced yacht photos were absolutely ruthless. One of the most viral replies said something along the lines of, "Come on, those yacht girls weren't hired for friendly conversation or polite backgammon matches. They were selected and tested, and anyone who's lived in LA knows exactly what yacht girls were known for. There are other names for them. Meghan used to be one of them." And just like that, people were fighting for days. Some insisting the rumor was baseless, others swearing it aligned with everything they'd heard from LA circles. Then someone else chimed in with a comment that really poured gasoline on the fire. For years I've heard whispers about Meghan Markle's supposed past as a high-end call girl or yacht girl. I always dismissed it as nonsense. I figured she must have gone through heavy security checks. But lately, I'm starting to wonder what on earth Harry was thinking. And just like that, the yacht girl narrative wasn't simply revived. It was suddenly being treated like the long-lost puzzle piece that supposedly makes everything make sense. But things took an even sharper turn when Ghislaine Maxwell's name got dragged back into the discussion. Out of nowhere, chatter began circulating that Maxwell had allegedly told people she kept an old CV from Meghan's early days, and not the Hollywood resume kind. This rumor is what resurrected that odd Flower alias people online swear Meghan once used. According to internet detectives, the nickname wasn't a stage name at all, but something tied to more adult-focused environments she allegedly moved through before fame. None of this has ever been proven, but that didn't matter. The rumor took off because it connected to something much bigger: the notorious redactions in Maxwell's testimony. More than 300 pages of her statements remain blacked out or completely withheld. And the theory spreading online is that Meghan's name appears somewhere inside those censored sections. The claim isn't that Meghan was an offender. It's the opposite. People online insist the redactions were done to protect the wealthy and influential figures she may have been around back then, people who wouldn't want the public knowing what she might have witnessed or overheard. And before anyone could even process that wave of speculation, Sarah Ferguson, Fergie, got pulled into the conversation again. Her ties to Epstein and Maxwell existed long before any of this became public scandal, so naturally the internet began stitching those connections together too. Suddenly, the rumor of Meghan and Fergie possibly crossing paths at social events years before Harry entered the picture was everywhere. That old clip of Meghan recalling her first meeting with the Queen didn't help either. She said Fergie was the one who rushed outside and asked, "Do you know how to curtsy?" before quickly coaching her through it. Some people began suggesting that level of familiarity didn't sound like two women who had only just met. To them, the royal PR version, that Meghan barely knew Fergie, was starting to look suspiciously neat. And from a speculation standpoint, that kind of detail is exactly the sort of thing that could send Prince William into panic mode. Just when the online chaos over Maxwell seemed to settle, the name Virginia Giuffre came roaring back into the conversation, pushing the situation into even hotter territory. During Giuffre's legal battle with Prince Andrew, her lawyers actually put Meghan Markle on their potential witness list. Not because Meghan accused Andrew of wrongdoing, she never did, but because of a single comment Meghan made years earlier, saying she had met Andrew in what she described as a previous life, long before she entered the royal spotlight. That tiny remark was all attorney David Boies needed to suggest that if the case went to trial, Meghan could be called in for questioning. Headlines exploded instantly. Meghan Markle could be forced to testify in Prince Andrew lawsuit. Giuffre's lawyer says Meghan may need to be deposed. The thought of Meghan sitting in a deposition connected to the Andrew case sent the royal PR machine into absolute overdrive. The moment her name is placed anywhere near a courtroom narrative, especially involving Epstein's orbit, the media storms in with full force. And then came the claim that set the internet ablaze once again. Back in April 2015, Soho House Istanbul celebrated its grand opening, a high-profile social event known for attracting celebrities, royals, and international elites. It was the kind of weekend where the A-list mingled freely, handshakes were exchanged, and networking wasn't just a hobby. It was a carefully curated art. And conveniently enough, Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, and Prince Charles all happened to be present during the exact same weekend. As soon as the timing surfaced, the rumor mill went into overdrive. Everyone started connecting dots, speculating about whether this was a mere coincidence or something more calculated. Online, social media feeds were flooded with people dissecting every detail of the event: who Meghan spoke to, how she was photographed, which corners of the venue she lingered in, and whether her encounter with Harry was truly a chance meeting or the product of some meticulously engineered introduction. When Prince Harry was later asked about his prior knowledge of Meghan, he insisted he had no familiarity with her at all. "No, I'd never seen Suits. Didn't know who she was," he said. According to him, the first time Meghan's name came up was through a friend who suggested he look her up. That seemingly innocent statement only made the rumor mill work overtime. People scrutinized his words, trying to detect hesitation, doubt, or even unspoken acknowledgement. Every small pause or phrasing was dissected by commentators, who eagerly spun threads about whether Harry was hiding something or telling the absolute truth. The theory that gained traction suggested Meghan's presence at Soho House Istanbul might not have been coincidental. Online sleuths argued that she was placed there deliberately, by the right people, at the right time, in a carefully selected environment designed to foster encounters with certain influential figures. To them, the famed meet-cute that became a fairy tale moment between Meghan and Harry suddenly seemed less organic and more strategically orchestrated. The narrative implied that Meghan was already moving in elite social circles before Harry ever noticed her, which, when stacked against other resurfacing rumors, painted a picture of a meticulously constructed entry into royal-adjacent life rather than a spontaneous, romantic introduction. And of course, once that speculation took hold, the conversation quickly escalated. People began combing through previous events and public appearances, looking for other instances where Meghan might have been positioned in spaces frequented by elite or influential figures. The Soho House Istanbul moment was suddenly not just a footnote. It became the springboard for discussions about her entire pre-royal network. Those theorists proposed that the event wasn't just about parties or cocktails. It was about proximity. Being in the same room as high-profile personalities, in an environment designed to encourage interaction, increased the odds of forging the connections that could eventually lead to introductions like the one that changed her life. Online discussion also focused heavily on the implications of Harry's claim that he hadn't known Meghan beforehand. Some argued that it was entirely plausible. After all, he had a life of his own, public duties, and limited exposure to the Los Angeles entertainment world where Meghan was active. Others were less charitable, suggesting that even if he had known her personally, it was improbable that someone as media-savvy as Meghan would be at that particular event without it being part of a broader strategy. Commentators debated endlessly, citing everything from seating arrangements to Instagram posts from guests that weekend, trying to construct a timeline and determine the extent of intent behind the meeting. Adding fuel to the fire, the timing of the Soho House event also coincided with other narratives circulating about Meghan's earlier social and professional circles. Some posts hinted that she was already moving in spaces where elite connections could form, spaces frequented by people who later became part of her royal story, including those linked to global business, philanthropy, and media networks. When these threads were woven together, the narrative became a mosaic of coincidences that suddenly looked far too coordinated to be accidental. The more people dissected it, the more it seemed to fit a pattern: strategic placement, proximity to influence, and carefully timed encounters. Even minor details from that weekend were magnified. Which drinks Meghan ordered, who she smiled at in photos, the corners of the venue she appeared in, all became clues in the ongoing speculation. Online discussions framed the Soho House Istanbul appearance as a kind of origin story for the fairy tale narrative, one that some theorists suggested was less about love at first sight and more about positioning within a network that would eventually intersect with the royal family. All of this compounded when you consider the larger context of Prince William and the royal family's ongoing concerns. The public, the media, and insiders were watching Meghan closely, evaluating how her pre-royal experiences might intersect with public perception, media narratives, and the family's already complicated history of scandals. From this lens, Harry's first encounter with Meghan, convenient as it appeared, was suddenly reframed as a moment of potential strategy, not serendipity. The Soho House Istanbul claim became a cornerstone for debate. It wasn't just about a meeting, it was about timing, context, and the perception of intentionality. And the more people dug, the more layered the speculation became, setting the stage for years of intense scrutiny that would follow Meghan into her royal life. The theory floating around is that Meghan's presence at Soho House wasn't just a random overlap. According to online speculation, she was positioned there, by the right people, at the right time in the right setting, to cross paths with the prince. In other words, the fairy tale, chance encounter, wasn't chance at all, but a carefully arranged introduction in a place known for grooming connections among high-profile crowds. And when you place that idea next to all the other resurfacing rumors, the story starts looking far less like fate and far more like strategy. After weeks of these theories piling up, the latest claim circulating online is that Prince William finally lost patience and confronted Harry. Not gently, not brother to brother in a let's talk privately kind of way, but with the urgency of someone who feels a crisis brewing. Something along the lines of, "We can't keep pretending this doesn't exist. If you know something, you need to say it." To understand why he'd snap, all you have to do is look at the state of the royal family. Prince Andrew's scandal already dragged the monarchy into one of the worst public disasters in its history. He was stripped of his roles, titles, and reputation. The crown barely stayed intact through that storm. Every institution tied to him had to back away just to salvage what was left. And now he exists as just Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, a private citizen, no privileges, no public duties, with the monarchy still trying to heal from that fallout. The last thing they want is another scandal hovering too close for comfort. Then add Harry and Meghan to the mix. The interviews, the docuseries, the book. Every media appearance comes with a fresh wave of criticism directed at the palace, and every time they speak, the royals end up scrambling to put out new fires. While the family tries to restore dignity, Harry and Meghan sit in front of cameras explaining why the institution is the enemy. Even Harry admits it openly. "I had to do this for my family, for my mental health, for my wife." And the tension only gets worse when Meghan continues insisting on full royal treatment everywhere she goes. That recent clip, the one where Meghan insisted she should be formally announced before entering even a small room, only reinforced what royal observers have been noting for years. She wants all the prestige and deference of the Duchess of Sussex, while simultaneously challenging and critiquing the very institution that grants her that title. To some, it's a striking paradox, commanding royal recognition while publicly questioning the monarchy's inner workings. From William's perspective, this is more than just frustrating. It's deeply alarming. He isn't merely reacting to a family member stirring drama or sharing grievances in public. In his eyes, Meghan's actions threaten to chip away at a carefully maintained reputation that has already been stretched thin by prior controversies. The royal image is a delicate structure, one that requires precise handling, and every statement, interview, or social media post that paints the institution in a negative light adds weight to a pressure that the family has long tried to manage behind closed doors. And the tension is intensified because Meghan isn't giving up any of her royal privileges. She is fully aware of the platform her title affords her and continues to wield it while simultaneously criticizing the system that bestows it. From William's standpoint, this is reckless. It's not just a personal slight, but a public hazard to the monarchy's stability. That's why many believe William felt compelled to confront Harry directly with a question no one in the family wants to articulate aloud. Is there more coming? Because we cannot survive another Andrew. And what makes this even more unsettling is that the answer might already be inching back into the spotlight. Every rumor, resurfacing allegation, and past connection tied to Meghan could amplify the stakes, leaving the family bracing for the next wave of scrutiny. In that context, William's concern isn't just sibling frustration. It's about potential crises, public fallout, and the fragile balance of the monarchy itself. The rumors suggest the answer might already be on its way back into public view, whether the royals are prepared for it or not.